Brian Davis. He's the beat writer for the Longhorns for the Austin American-Statesman, and he joins us now. Brian, the more I hear, the less I know. So can you clear up things for me? What is going on in Austin?
Well, the nuclear bomb has gone off, or at least it's counting down 3, 2, and we're not to 1 yet. But no, it really does look like that the end is here for Coach Mack Brown. He, although it's not as progressed as the reports would have you believe, is he going to resign? Yes, he probably will. Is it going to happen this week? Yes, it probably will. Has it happened as of this morning? No, it hasn't. So we reported that Mack has had discussions with high-ranking UT officials, presumably. That's the president, Bill Powers, that they probably will come to an agreement and part ways.
Do you believe representatives have talked to Nick Sabin or his agent?
Absolutely, I do. It's been documented pretty much that Wallace Hall, a UT regent, along with Steve Hicks, who is another UT regent, and Tom Hicks, the former Rangers and Stars owner, they're brothers. They talked to Jimmy Sexton in January.
But I mean recently.
It's hard to say no, but you can't get anyone to say yes.
All right, this job, now, assuming Mack Brown steps down, I don't know if not having DeLoss Dodd in his corner with the athletic director stepping down and a new AD coming in Steve Patterson, so he wants his guy. Is there any chance Mack Brown stays on as head coach if they don't get the guy they want to succeed him?
Well, this is what I've thought about that situation. I think that Mack could go to Bill Powers and say, look, I really want to stay as the coach. And Powers can say, okay, if that's what you want, the Wolves are at the door, but you can stay. However, if you do stay, the first stumble, it will get very ugly, very ugly. And I think if Mack, just knowing Mack like I do, he is very smart, smart enough to read the tea leaves. He can see what's out there. His political capital is very, very low right now. I wouldn't think he would stay for that.
As far as there's so many names here, Brian. Now I know
there's only one. There's only one that matters here.
And that's Nick Sabin?
Absolutely. If you are a Texas fan, that's the only name you care about.
Okay, but if you don't get him, and I say the consolation prize is Jim Moore Jr. or Mike Tomlin or Jim Harbaugh, whoever it is with all of these names, and I know, when you're in the vacuum, you feel like everybody wants this job, so why wouldn't we go after Urban Meyer or whoever? If you don't get Nick Sabin, who do you get?
That's the question I have been asking everyone because I just don't believe they're getting Nick Sabin. I just don't believe that he will come here. You have a president situation that is too up in the air. Bill Powers could be gone by the time the next season starts. We don't know that, but I think Powers will be here as president, but he could be gone with the way that the regents and Governor Rick Perry are all going at each other. I think that a coach who comes here has to look very hard at the Longhorn Network because the network takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of distractions and time away from coaching the football team. That I think Nick Sabin would hate that, quite frankly.
Do you believe this, Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, names that would be interested?
I don't believe Tomlin for one bit. I talked to someone who was very, very close to Tomlin, and he said very emphatically, no way he leaves the Steelers, no way he leaves the NFL. Yes, Tomlin is the Steelers are up and down this year, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I find it very hard you leave the Rooneys.
Yeah, and they're very loyal to their coaches. Harbaugh going back to college.
My question would be, why would he do that?
I've said the same thing when I look at these candidates, but it's the same thing I said with Nick Sabin. Alabama's a great job. They build statues down there for you. Granted, they expect, you winning titles, but eventually they're going to expect you to win titles at UT if you go there.
See, Dan, in my mind, the only singular reason Nick Sabin will leave Alabama is that if he wants to chase history, to be the only coach to win 3 national titles at 3 different schools. That is the only reason you leave Alabama, because they can certainly match whatever Texas would offer financially. he controls the entire state. If he comes here, he has to compete with A&M, Tech, believe it or not, up in the Panhandle. There's a lot of other things, in the state here that you have to control versus you stay in Tuscaloosa, you own the whole place. And that has to be attractive, I would think.
If we talk on Monday, anything different?
Oh, I think it's well, I think Mack will be gone at that point. I think every name out there will be discussed. I don't know. I'm just not ready to be guys like Feinbaum who are like, I'm going to retire if Nick Saban goes to Austin. I'm not ready to say that, but I just
you're
I don't know.
You're going to love it. You're going to work double shifts if Saban goes there. You're not going to retire. Come on.
Well, that's a good point. It's like I kind of thought you were going to call and want to talk about Rick Barnes and the basketball team's off to an 8-1 start. And I'm like, what else could be going on out here?
If I wasn't up against a commercial break, I would dive right into that topic, Brian. Hey,
awesome.
I know you got a busy couple of days coming up. Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it, Dan.
All right, Brian Davis, the Austin American-Statesman.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.